Alrighty, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the How Can I Support My Child series. It's a beautiful Thursday evening. Who is in the house? We are live. If you are here, let me see you in the comments. Let me know that you are live and you have joined us. If you are a parent of a toddler and you are in this class alone, and you have friends who also have toddlers, please take a second and go and invite them to be a part of this class. All right? If you are parent of a young child or a preteen, right, there's still a lot that you can still get from here, especially if you're a parent of a school age child. All right, the Skill of Show is that show that is dedicated to parents of our younger children, parents of children between ages 0 and 7. If you are here right now, then let's move, because today we are going to be talking about using a personalized education plan to unlock your child or your toddler's superpower. We love the idea of a superpower. All right. So I run the Mastermind Circle. Oh, have I introduced myself? My name is Maribeth Chima, and I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources. And yes, I am the proud matron of the Mastermind Circle. One second. All right, I am the proud matron of the Mastermind Circle. And it is in the Mastermind Circle that we talk about superpowers a lot. If you're here and you are a mastermind parent, you're here right now or you are catching the replay, don't be quiet now. Mastermind parents, don't be quiet. You are raising superpowers. You are raising masterminds. So when you come to meetings like this, please shine and holla. All right, let's see you in the comment section. So in the mastermind, we talk about our superpowers. Or our superpowers are usually things that we have within us. And all right, then break. Sorry, I think we had a bit of a network glitch here, so sorry about that. All right, so those superpowers are those things that we do. I say to the children, the things that come to you easily, the things that you do without sweating, the things that you do like other people, but when you do it with ease and you do it differently. And everybody turns and says to you, you do this so well. It's a superpower. The things that other people stress to do that you don't have to stress to do. That's it. The thing that when you are doing, you enjoy doing and you give plug. You enjoy doing and you do not need to be pushed. You do not need to be dragged around. Right there is a superpower. All you need to do is to hone it. All you need to do is to practice and you will be amazing or you will do greatness using that superpower. All right. So, yes, how can we begin to help our children unlock these superpowers by using a personalized education plan? If you've never heard anything about a personalized education plan, a homemade personalized education plan, then I will be talking to you about it today. And when you know about it, please don't go and sleep. Make sure that you start creating one for your family. I will start with this quote by Maria Montessori, a simple one that says, a child is father to the man. A child is father to the man. What this quote is saying is this quote is trying to help us see how important the years between 0 and 7 are in the life of a child. This is the time of explosive growth in the life of a human being. There's a lot of development that is going on during this phase of a child's life. It's a window of opportunity where we can nurture our children's unique talents. It's a window of opportunity where we can nurture our children's habits. It's a window of opportunity where we can help our children build skills. All right. It is a time to build the foundation for lifelong learning in your child. So it is important that as parents, we do not waste this window of opportunity. I was telling a story today. Okay, I shared something on my Facebook group and I talked about how our daughter didn't go to school until she was almost 3. Okay, and our son went to school shortly after he was 6 months old. And someone asked me, why did you do that? Why the difference? I said, knowledge. What I knew at the time I was having our son, or what we knew at the time we had our son, right? We didn't know. I mean, what we knew at the time we had our daughter, 6 years after our son, we didn't know when we had our son. So at that time, we thought that the earlier we got him into school, where he could be in an environment, right? In a formal environment, the better for him, because somewhere at the back of our mind, we thought that this is it. The child will be introduced to learning as early as possible and the child will start making strides. Little did we know that the window of opportunity that the charming, we had so many windows of opportunity that we could harness at home that could not be harnessed anywhere as much as we could harness those windows of opportunity at home. And so this is why we are learning about this, or this is why we're sharing information on this, so that parents will know better. Today, we will explore how a personalized education plan can help unlock your toddler's superpower and maximize their potential. It is very key that we know these things as parents. At this point, if you are here, please let us see you in the comments. If you are watching us on YouTube and you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, even if you're catching the replay, why don't you go ahead and subscribe right now? And remember to click on the notification button so that you know whenever we go live and you can be a part of the conversation. If you're on Facebook, tag a friend who needs to be here. Okay? Because it's very important what we are talking about today. All right. So the window of opportunity, we cannot talk about toddlers and learning without talking about these windows of opportunity. Maria Montessori taught a lot about this window of opportunity, and it's important that as parents of toddlers, we understand that we have this period and we can make a lot, or we can get a lot out of it. We can give our children a lot of advantage if we recognize how important this period is and how much we can do with it. The window of opportunity is very important because your child's brain is developing at an astonishing rate during this phase of their life. So think about it this way: as the child, think about it this way, as a super highway, right? Think of it as a super highway, okay, where there is a lot of connection going on, a lot of connection forming at the same time. So there are a lot of neural pathways that are being formed in your child's brain during this period. Now, for every time your child is learning, or every time that your child is being stimulated, more pathways are being created, and these pathways are connecting with each other. All right, and so there is a synopsis of pathways that is going on. Each of these is causing your child's brain development. Each of these is leading to, learning, brain development. The more stimulation that is going on in the child's brain during this phase, the more brain development is happening for the child during this phase. So there are 5 key things I'm going to be discussing today that happen during this period. Okay, let's discuss 5 of them. One is rapid brain growth. As I said, the brain is building the foundation for future learning. So this phase is the period where all that will happen for the rest of the life of this human being, the foundation for it is being built right now. I shared a video yesterday of Oprah Winfrey and some other man. They had written a book and she was talking about that book. And she said in that book, all right, what you will find is that all of the negative behavior, all of the ways that you act, the things that you do today, when you read that book, you will realize that it is not about what you are right now or what you're doing right now per se. It is about what done to you or what you did or the experiences that you had in the first 6 years of your life. So basically, this rapid growth, of the brain, rapid brain development that is happening, that is forming the foundation for future learning. And all of this happens in the first 6 years. Some school of thought say the first 7 years of your child's life. So what it means is, when you know this as a parent, when you are knowledgeable as a parent, then you know that you can create more and more stimulation in your child's environment, right? That can help more brain connections, the highway that can create more pathways and more highways and more neural connections and all of that, which will lead to even more rapid growth, of the brain, and all of that. The next thing that is happening is sensorial exploration. All right, during this phase, there's a lot of sensorial exploration. Children learn by doing. All right, so that is why you do not want to put your child, all right, or the best place. Let me say that. Okay, so that's why the best place for your child during this phase of their life is not being locked in a room staring at a TV screen the whole time. All right. The more your child is doing, the more your child is exploring, the more the child is interacting with their environment, the more communication, interaction, all right, or relation that the child has in their environment, the more brain development, the more development that is going on in the child's life. The hand is the instrument of the brain. So the more the child is doing, the more brain development, all right, that is going on. They explore the world through their senses: touching, tasting, seeing, hearing, smiling, all of this. So the more activities in their environment that leads them to do a lot of touching, the more the more they manipulate the things in their environment. So that's why you see in the early years, you see children have to do the door, right? The children have to walk the door. Okay, you see them do a lot of painting and coloring. All of that is because they are exploring with their senses. So it's all sensorial, learning, sensorial development that is going on in this phase, okay, that is important during this stage of your child's life. The next one is their language acquisition, all right, from blabbing their first words, okay, to sentences and language skills, right? All of this is exploding during this phase of your child's life. Do you know that your child is capable? The experts say that your child is capable of learning between 7 and 10 languages during this phase of their life. So yes, one language does not affect the child. The child can learn a language in the most authentic way during this phase of the child's life. Haven't you ever wondered how children can learn language? All right, they can actually learn language without you sitting them in a classroom and teaching them grammar, teaching them, punctuations, and all of that. They learn the language with the right intonation. They learn the language with the right tenses. They learn language with the right, the right grammatical, tenses and all of that. Have you ever wondered? Meanwhile, for you as an adult, when you want to learn these languages, when you want to learn French as an English speaking person, you have to go through this rigorous, you go to the university to learn French for 4 years. And after learning French for 4 years, when you speak, we will still know that you're not a Frenchman because somehow you don't have the diction, right? Meanwhile, a child can learn the same language with the right diction, with everything, right? Yet the child did not sit in front of a single whiteboard, didn't read a single textbook. What does it tell you? That the child got superpowers that allow the child to learn in the most authentic way, in the easiest way, in the fastest way during this window of opportunity. Because learning during this phase is easy. Learning during this phase is almost automatic, is stressless, right? And it is authentic. So you can see what kind of power and what kind of opportunity the child has that shouldn't be wasted. The next one is motor skill development, all right? Motor skill development, all right, this is very key. From staggering and wobbling all around the place, the child begins to jump. Okay, the child begins to jump, and then the child begins to run. The child begins to do all of these things. The child begins to move their hands from just trying to pick. I mean, from trying to use these two fingers, the child begins to know how to grab things, and all of that. This is all development that is going on. Their fine motor skills, is growing. Their big muscles, their, gross motor skills, all of it's growing during this period. Okay. Now, the child it begins with using a rattle, right? The child begins with using a rattle, and then the child goes on, to know how to grab big things, knows how to use stuff to hit on another item. The child is drumming. All of these are happening during this first phase of the child's life. The fifth one we're going to be talking is social emotional development. Yes, children are learning about their emotions. Children are building their relationship. They are learning how to build relationship. They are learning how to resolve their conflicts in their, conflicts with their peers. They are learning how to interact with other people. They're learning how to listen. They're learning how to speak. They're learning how to take turns. All of these happens during this first phase of the child's life, and these are very critical. All right. Now let's look at unlocking their superpower. Let's look at how we can unlock their superpower. Just like we have, superheroes. All right. So I started by saying that children have got superpowers. It's one of the easiest way to help your child understand what they are capable of. You remember that when they are this young, they understand the whole thing about superheroes. They are very all about superheroes. So it's a good way to help your child understand the power that they have and to help them begin to look at it as something that is unique to them. So our children have certain powers that as parents we want to harness. They have certain powers that as parents we want to pay attention to. All right, because these powers, these powers are there to help us guide them to build a solid foundation for the rest of their life. These powers are there to help your child develop the skills to navigate life on their own. These powers are there to help your child learn how to be independent. These powers are there to help the child learn how to interact with their environment, how to create solutions, or how to solve the problems in their environment. So the more our children use this power or utilize this power, the more they improve on this power or they develop this power, the more they are able to solve the problems in their environment, the more they are able to manipulate the things in their environment, the more they are able to find their space and their place in their environment, the more they're able to create solutions to the problems that they have and the problems of other people. And that's what living is about. And that's what impact is about. That's what our essence is about. Being able to find the problems in your environment and create solutions for those problems. That's how we raise children who are valuable. All right, very important. Now, what are some of these superpowers that our children have that we want to harness right now? The power of curiosity. That's number one. The power of curiosity. How do you know that your child has got this power? Is your child asking you a lot of whys? Are they asking you every time, why? Do this, why? Do that, why? Are they asking you? Are they always saying, I don't understand it? Are they always saying, you repeat one thing and then they ask you a question on that thing? You repeat the next thing and then they ask you. So when your children or when your toddler It's asking a lot of why. It tells you already that the child possesses the power of curiosity. Okay, it is the favorite question for your for your toddler, and your job is to be there as a parent, be present as a parent to answer the why, or to direct them to look for solutions to their own problem. So our job as parents is to point them to look for the answers to their why. All right. But you being there kindly and, of course, present, right, and guiding them to answer their whys themselves is how you help them to nurture this superpower. So nurture their natural inquisitiveness by providing opportunities for them to explore, opportunities for them to discover, right? Opportunities for them to find the answers to the questions that they are asking. Don't be too quick to answer the questions that your toddlers ask you. When they ask you a question, kindly and nicely look for a way to direct that question back to them. For instance, Mom, where do eggs come from? Sweetie, okay, let's look at it together. Where do you think that eggs come from? You seen, where do you think that eggs come from? Do you think it's a plant? Do you think it's an animal? Do you think, ask those kind of questions? So that way you are, of course, you're, of course, guiding the child to think critically. When you ask those questions, you are, of course, sending back the child's questions to the child and giving the child the opportunity to do more exploration to get the answers to their own questions. So, this is how, as a parent, you are present. This is how, as a parent, you can take advantage of your child's superpower. Of course, your toddler's superpower. Number two is the power of language. Come on now. The ability to communicate for your child is growing during this phase. At least it is growing it's growing in big, in huge leaps and bounds, basically, during this phase. So you encouraging language by the kind of language that you use in your environment is how you will help your child harness this superpower. All right. So rich language is critical at this stage. This is the stage. You see that your child that is talking anyhow. This is where the child got it from. Now, a lot of times, because we don't have the knowledge, right? We don't know. Knowledge will separate you as a parent. See, parents, knowledge is how you give your children the advantage because it is what you know. You cannot give what you do not know. All right. We have said many times that who you turn out to be is a function of the people that raise you, the environment that they raise you in, the experiences that you have in that environment, and of course, what the people that know you know, what they know will constitute or will be a part of what makes who you are. So when the people in your environment, the people who are raising you, understand that during this phase you are building, you have the power to learn language in powerful way. During this stage, they know that you have the ability to communicate, your ability to communicate is growing, and that language is a powerful tool. They would know that the more they present, what they present to you will form the foundation for your language, basically. All right. How rich language? What kind of language do you use in your home? What kind of emotions surround the way you speak in that home? I hope you know, dear parents, that it's not even just about how you talk to the child. It's about how you talk to the people in that environment that the child gets to hear. How you talk to the people in that environment that the child gets to know. So the moment you have children in your environment, especially in this first 6-7 years of their lives, you need to be careful. There should be ground rules as per what can be said in that environment. There should be ground rules as per how you talk to each other in that environment. This is a period that you don't even talk. You don't, in fact, if possible, don't even have arguments in front of the children. Reserve all your adult arguments and all your adult, throwing of words if you cannot control that, if you're in that or that table. Reserve the communication, or the the back and forth, reserve them for the evenings or the nights when the children go to bed, because everything that is happening in your environment, the child brain at this point is soaking them up. We call it the absorbent mind. It is absorbing everything in their environment, what you're saying, what they hear, what they see, what they perceive. Everything is being absorbed into the brain during this phase of the child's life. So language is very key. How do you now begin to present good language or rich language? By reading books. Reading books will save your child, because reading books will introduce the right vocabulary. Of course, reading the right books now. Okay, reading the right books, choosing the right books, for this phase of their lives. You want to pick books that are big, books that the prints are large, the prints are, rich, right? The books colorful, and then, of course, hard books, so that the children do not tear them easily, that the children can handle them themselves while you're reading aloud to them. Reading aloud is an essential tool during this phase of the child's life, so that you are reading out. When you read aloud, the child is hearing. So the child is listening to rich language when you read aloud. The child is listening to varying vocabulary when you read aloud. The child is listening to different genre, of books now, right? That are age appropriate. So the child is listening to different vocabulary. The child is listening to different tone of voice. Okay, the child is listening to different interactions. The child is listening, or the child is being introduced to different character. So the child is building emotion. I hope as you're reading, that is helping the child also build their emotions and emotional, intelligence and emotional skills, because the child is listening to the conversation between the characters in the story. The child learns empathy from listening to these stories. There's a lot that goes in there when we read books. So reading books is a powerful tool during this phase. I hope it's beginning to come together. Why the home is the place for this phase of a child's life. It's the most important place for this phase of a child's life. Let's move on. If you are here, please let me see you in the comment section. Where is everybody? Where is everybody? Why are we not out in this class? All right. Where is everybody? All right. Let's do a little housekeeping. If you are in the house, please let us know that you are here right now. Okay. If you have not invited a friend, why don't you go ahead and invite a friend right now, okay? Because your friend needs to be a part of this conversation. Let's have the conversation. All right, let's do a bit of housekeeping. Invite a friend right now, okay? Invite someone who needs to be here. Why do I have a feeling that, are we on, okay, let's see. All right. Okay. So if you're here, let's do this. Invite a friend right now. Take a second, take a minute, and invite a friend. Take a minute and also tag someone, all right, or share the link with someone on YouTube. All right. So let's move on. Okay. So the power of resilience. Yes. The power of resilience is the third one. All right. Now, when children, sorry about that, we are still in Africa. All right, you just not see me for a minute or so, and I will be back again on your screen. But let's keep talking. So the power of resilience, right? That is a superpower that your child has during this phase. The child has the ability to be resilient. All right. Have you seen a toddler that is trying? Have you seen a baby that is trying to walk? Have you seen a baby that is trying to walk? Have you seen a child that is trying to, get a toy, right, across the room, or get something that they need? Have you seen that child? Have you seen how resilient they can be? Have you seen them fall and get up on their own, and all of that? So the baby has the power. The toddler has the power to be resilient, right? That never give up spirit. We have it fully during this phase. It is what we do to these children that actually diminishes this power in them. All right, the child has the power to take risk, ability to take risk. The child has the superpower to be resilient, to pursue any goal that they have until they achieve it. If we can preserve this intuition, if we can preserve this spontaneity in the child, if we can preserve this reflex in the child. But usually we come with all of our adults fears and safety, projecting all of our fears and all of that on the children, and we stop them from being resilient. So if you know as a parent, now that you know as a parent that this is a superpower, you have this knowledge, then you know how to allow the child to explore this part of the child by ensuring that you create a safe environment that allows the child to move around safely, by creating the right space for the child to navigate around on their own without being disturbed. So when you know this, you know that there are certain places that you should not leave. There are certain things that you should not have in your space if you're a parent that is raising a baby or you're raising a toddler. All right. So these are very important. Remember, we said what you know as a parent will distinguish your child, because now you're able to use, right, the potential. You're able to help them. You're able to harness the potential that the child has to help the child reach their own full potential. Now, if you don't know this, then you find yourself asking Ekaite or asking Janet to back the child all the time. If you don't know this, you will not even allow the child play in the compound because you're more concerned about the child bruising their feet or bruising their leg. You would see that you will hinder the child, right? You will hinder the child. For you, you are being protective. You will not even realize that you are stopping or hindering a natural process. You are actually inhibiting and destroying a natural skill that the child is supposed to have. They fall down and they get back up again, okay? This will help them to develop resilience. This is teaching them how to cope with challenges, of course, and this is teaching them how to learn from their mistakes. But because we don't know this, or because we are not fully aware of what is going on, or that this is part of a developmental, part of the child's, this is the part of the child's development process, because we don't know this, we stop it, we stifle it, we inhibit them, and then we begin to help them gradually lose their ability to be resilient. And then we begin to raise children who are fearful. We begin to raise children with all of our stories. We tell all kinds of stories. We think of the children don't hear. Okay, even in our voices, in our faces, in our eyes, they see the fear. And so they, of course, take on those fear, and it becomes their own fear too, and that's how we destroy the resilience that our children naturally should have. All right, the next one is the power of creativity. This one, what we do to young children on this one is something that is not forgivable, but God will forgive us. All right, because parents have been known to kill the creativity of their children over and over and over again. See, a lot of us say, if Messi or Serena Williams were our children, they will not go anywhere near the things that they have achieved. Some of us, if we were the parents of Serena Williams, she would not even smell Wimbledon because of all of our protection and all of that. We would have stifled or killed their creativity because of what we don't know. All right. So children have creativity as one of their superpowers, the ability to imagine. Okay. It's actually limitless how far your child can imagine. All right, the child can imagine. So our job is to allow them imagine. Our job is to allow. So sometimes when they come and they tell you all those stories, right? All those crazy stories that don't make sense to us as adults. Let them, because right there is how our children are building the ability or the power to create. Everything that you see outside is first created in the mind. All right. So the first stage of creativity is in the mind. So if you don't allow children think, if you don't allow children dream, if you don't allow children daydream, then you are not allowing them become creative. Some of us, when we see the children sitting down and talking to themselves, we will even beat them and get angry. Why are you talking to yourself? Are you a madman? No, sometimes that is them thinking aloud the ideas that are going on in their head. Sometimes we see them, the child sits down and is doing something. You are angry. Why are you always sitting down? What are you doing? Do you understand? Because we don't know any better. Okay, so encourage creativity, okay, and expression through music, through art, through dramatic play, role plays, sports, sports, dance, all of that. Allow the children explore that side of their superpower. Okay, it is a superpower, the ability to be creative. The next one is problem solving skills. All right, that's the last one we'll be discussing. Problem solving skills. Our children are constantly trying to figure out things. The reason that child is piecing your remote control, if you allow the child, if you pay attention and you're not just screaming and shouting, stop, 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 every time the child picks or touches a thing. Because every time you shout stop and all of that, that's you taking one bit of the child's ability to create. That's you taking the child one step away from being an innovator, one step away from being an inventor, one step away from solving problems, because it is through exploration, it is through seeing what can work or cannot work. That is how inventors actually create. All right, haven't you heard of the story of Thomas Edison and how many times he had to go on and on and on and on before he could create the light bulb? So all of these people, from Einstein to Thomas Edison, and all the Wright brothers who created the plane. You think they just woke up and pieced things together and the plane was in the sky? A lot of them had to do all of them had to do trials and errors. They failed many times, all right? And all of it was piecing this and piecing that together. It has to start from somewhere. But because we don't know this, we are constantly shouting and screaming, stop it. We are more concerned about, our remote control, our small things that we have used our money to buy. We're more concerned about that than, allowing the child. Sometimes the children are not exactly there to destroy things. Stay close enough and watch them, see where they're trying to get, and then of course look for substitutes. Okay, look for substitutes that you can use to replace the good one, right? So that the child can continue to explore. You can go to abattoir, you can go to all of these places where they sell scraps. All right, so you can actually go and get an old remote control and give that to your child if that's what the child has been trying to piece together and all of that. You can actually do that as opposed to not having the child have anything at all. If your child is tactile and the child is always touching things and trying to piece things together, your job is not to take things away from the child. Your job is to replace the things that you don't want damaged with things that are similar or can give the child the same effect, so that the child continues to explore. Very important. Now, these are some of the superpowers that our children have. And if we do not recognize this superpower, then we're not able to help the children harness those superpowers. Now, if we do not allow the children harness the superpowers, then we are destroying their superpowers and destroying their creativity. We are stopping them from growing. We're stopping them from becoming resilient. We're stopping them from being able to solve problems. We're stopping them from developing the language that they need to interact and to form relationships. We're hindering our children from being curious in order for them to understand the world around them. Our children cannot conquer the world if they do not understand how it works. So that's why the knowledge and the understanding of the world is very important. If our children are going to be able to conquer and to navigate the world, basically. So if we're not allowing them do this, then we're not allowing them grow. Now we're looking at how we can use a personalized education plan to achieve all of this, because we can. All right, what is a personalized education plan? What is a homemade, all right, or home built personalized education plan? A personalized education plan is simple. It's like a roadmap for a child's learning journey. Now, as a parent, when you create one, what you are doing is you're not leaving the child's learning to chance. You are not leaving the child's learning to, okay, whatever the child wants to do. Now, when we say allow children play, parents will be like, if not play alone, my child is a genius now, because this one can play from Africa. We're not talking of your child running aimlessly, jumping from one spot to the other. That's not what we're talking about when we say play. All right, we're not talking about your child. Now, there's a place for free play that is there, but there's also a place for creativity. When you intentionally create some structured play in your environment that invites your child to explore and be creative, that's also a thing. All right, so when we say play, we're not saying leave the child outside to roam around the streets the entire day. All right, leave the child outside to roam around the streets anyhow. That's not what we're saying. We are saying create an environment that is stimulating so that your child grows within that environment. So that's what a personalized education plan, part of what it does. All right, it is a roadmap for your child's learning journey. It will help you focus on the child's strength. A personalized education plan allows you to see your child. So you're able to see the child and you're able to create a plan based on the child's uniqueness. What is the child's strength? What is the child's weakness? What is the child interested in? What is the child able to do? Now, you're able to take the knowledge that you have. What is the child's personality? You're able to take the knowledge of the child that you have, and you're able to use that to create a plan that is tailored to help the child reach their full potential. Very essential. Why do we need a personalized education plan? Number one, the personalized education plan involves targeted activities, right? So it's not just, as I said, just doing anyhow. Of course, it involves you being able to target the activities of the child, okay? The plan focuses on activities that are developmentally appropriate for that child and aligns to the child's special interest. Now, because you know the child's interest, because you know the child, now you're able to curate activities that will help promote or will help the child build that aspect of the child's life. I'm sure you've heard by now the 10,000-hour rules. Now, if your child has an interest in an area, the mistake that we have made, and one that traditional education has still not found a way to deal with, is having children do too many things. So they dissipate their energy on too many things at all. When we can actually streamline the child's learning to the area that the child is interested in, or that the child, is, the areas that we can already see that the child is building themselves, or the child is naturally gravitating towards. We said in the window of opportunity, right, that nature would actually help the child gravitate to what it is that the child needs for the child to be independent as an individual. Now, as children move from this phase and they grow into school age and preteens and teenagers, gradually, right, if we're paying attention, we're able to silence the noise around the many things that they do, and we're able to narrow down to the things that the children are interested in, so that we can give energy, so that we can give focus, so that we can give priorities to this area of the child's life. I'm so passionate about children finding, all right, the things that are their superpowers and aligning with them. I'm passionate. And that's what the mastermind circle is about. If your child is in the mastermind circle, you know what I'm talking about. By the way, if you don't have your child in the mastermind circle, you have 5 to 13-year-olds and they are not in this circle, you are wrong. If your goal is to help your child build a solid foundation, right, then the mastermind circle is a place for you. Because in the mastermind circle, we're almost like you. we're almost like, we're working with you basically as a parent, and we are seeing the child because we are close knit, and we're able to identify, or we're able to work with the superpowers that the children are identifying with. That way, we're able to point them and continue to point them to these superpowers so that we can grow in that area. All right. We're not dissipating energy everywhere. Some of us have children. These children go, they're in schools, they do 18, 20, 21 subjects. That's what traditional schools will do. So your child comes, he has 21 compartments in his head, 21 books. So at every point, your child is thinking 21 instead of thinking of 3, 4 places and areas to focus. Now, you as a parent, you can streamline all of that so that when your child is at home and your child is learning, you are able to turn all of these 21 and the many things, right? You're able to put them in perspective and help the child use their superpower to deal with to deal with their learning, right, or achieve their learning effectively. The thing is, we would help you. Okay, we want to help you know this, understand this, and know what to do with this. All right. For instance, if your child loves dinosaurs, you can incorporate dinosaurs. Dinosaur themed learning in the activities that your child is doing. Your child loves superhero. You can actually incorporate superhero themes into math and all of that. That is the power of a personalized education plan. It is personalized to pay attention to how your child learns best. Okay, it pays attention to how your child learns best. What will aid your child's learning? What tools your child require for the child to learn in their at optimal level? Very key. Traditional schools, we're not trying to water down what happens in traditional schools, but I tell you here for free that the traditional schools cannot give, even traditional schools know that they cannot give your child as much attention, okay, and as much personalized learning as you can. That's why schools are trying so hard to get parents involved in their children's learning. The more you are involved, the better it is for the school. And the more the school, whatever the children do in school, the more effective it becomes. Okay. So when teachers meet parents who are involved, you will see that they have special respect for you, because what it is you are making their job easier. I can say this for free because, hey, I'm a teacher also. So yes, I am the person that should be talking to you about this. So when I talk to you about a personalized education plan, don't be like, these coaches have come again. No, we're not looking for topics to teach you. We're not looking for another course to give you. We're bringing to you what you need. If helping your children reach that vision, helping your children reach their goals, helping your children maximize their potential is your goal, then, and you have children between 0 and 13. Get in. So we are starting a challenge very soon. We have opened registration for that challenge. And guess what? It's very affordable because it's a challenge. Last year when we took this course, the cost was 12,000 naira last year because it was a course where we were training. But we've realized that it's not the training, it's not the knowledge that is the problem. It's being able to sit down and curate this PEP for your children. So this year we are going on a journey with you. Everything is tool. We're going to start from scratch. We're going to create the tool. We're going to create the PEP together in the community. Day 1, day 2, for 10 days we are together. It's a workshop. For 10 days we are together. You're creating PEP for each of the areas that you want to focus on for each of your children. We have 10 dimensions or 10 areas of education that we will bring to you. If you want to create plans for your children along those lines, beautiful. But if you have your own vision already, then bring it along and we would help you, stay with you with questions, and you will have the tool every day. And we will be at the end of the 10 days, you will have a solid curriculum. You will have a solid personalized plan for each of your children. I know some of you, even with being intentional, you've not been able to create this. You've heard create a curriculum, create a PEP, create this every year in, year out, year in, year out, you are shouting, yes, we can, yes, we are. You have not created it. I am giving you an opportunity to create it this year and revisit it every year. So come, register. Let's create a PEP for that child because the child deserves to have a personalized education plan. Number two, it individualizes the pace of your child's learning. In traditional school, your child will have to learn at the pace of everybody. I remember getting into trouble as a teacher in a traditional, in school when I was in the classroom. And one of the trouble, one of the things I found out was my sin was the fact that they took, the books of some of my kids and they flipped through the books and they did not see a chronological answering of the workbook from page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5 for what now? Are my children robots? If I have a child who is doing well, why am I going to keep the child doing an activity on page 5 when the child can do a tougher or a more challenging activity that is on page 32? I'm going to take you right to page 32 to go and challenge you. So you come, you will see page 10, you will see 32, you will see 38. I am challenging children. And of course, because a lot of teachers are lazy, they don't even want to go and look for associated questions on page 32 and 35. They would rather go chronologically. Some of us who are exploring, we've explored the entire book, and we've seen that there are more challenging tasks on 32. But then I said again, if the people who are training you, the people who are raising you, if they don't have knowledge, you will be a mediocre. That's what a lot of us are doing with our children. If you don't have enough knowledge, you will be raising a mediocre. You will be raising children with the basics. You will be insisting, I beg, am I the teacher? Let the school teach them. Now that I'm saying personalized education plan, you will still look away because we are comfortable with settling. Don't settle. Come, let's create a plan so that your children are growing in leaps and bounds in your home. And of course, we will talk about how you can balance or how you can connect or be in sync with the school before we go off today. The next one is, okay, I talked about their pace, okay? A personalized plan allows your child to learn at their own pace. Okay, they can master a skill. They do not have to be struggling with one part, and then of course the week is over and the class needs to move to the next topic. So your child is there hanging. He doesn't have the hang of the concept, the step one of a concept. He's already moving to step 2, and while he's there, he's still confused. Those who are working have moved to step 3. That's what happens in traditional school a lot of time. It is only the children who get it that are flying. The ones who are struggling just get lost in the whole system because the teacher cannot do more than they can do now. The teacher's got 20, 30, 40 children in the class. How is the teacher going to manage these ones and these ones and these ones and the ones that are struggling? A lot of times schools will say, oh, we differentiate and all of that. We differentiate, but it's still the same teacher that has to attend to all of these children. See, no two children can operate at the same pace. So what? Is the teacher going to operate with 30 different paces of the children? So somehow, these children will still be bunched in groups and assumed that, okay, you belong to this group, you should all be at the same pace. But no two children can be at the same pace per se. So this is where you come in as a parent. This is where you come in as a parent. You're able to pace your child so the child masters the skill. And I hope when I talk about a personalized plan, you are not only thinking of math and English. No, that's another thing. It goes beyond math and English. We talked about 10 dimensions. These 10 dimensions will include financial skills, it will include home management, self-management, leadership skills, talents and interests, okay? All of that. So you can build a plan in your home, no matter what it is, no matter what system or what program your child is doing. As a parent, you should still have a PEP. And that PEP can actually bring or consolidate on all that your children are doing in every area. What they are doing with their teacher, what they are doing with their coaches and mentors, what they are doing in the mentorship platforms. You can put all of this together and you create an ultimate plan that is a roadmap. It's a guide for you, a pathway to helping your child, get that rounded and holistic, learning or education that you are in charge of. It doesn't matter how many coaches or mentors or teachers your children have, their parents, you are still the chief teacher. You are still the chief teacher. Don't forget that you are the chief teacher. You are the one that will take everything and consolidate. You should have the milestones and you should have the record of that journey and what it is that you want to see per time. If you don't know what you want to see per time, you will not understand whether your child or how much progress your child is making. Very important. All right. So as we begin to round up, okay, the next one is strength based approach. All right. We are able to focus on what your child does well. That's it. You're able to focus on your child's interest. You're able to focus on what the child does best. That's what a personalized education plan does for you. Okay, it doesn't allow you judge a child. Okay, like judge a fish by its inability to climb a tree. If you do that, you will mess that fish up because the fish will never be good enough, isn't it? Now, but a personalized education plan allows you judge a fish with the yardstick or with the standard of a fish. As a matter of fact, it doesn't even allow you judge the fish. It allows you prepare the fish, guide the fish to maximize their potential and help them swim in all the areas of all kinds of waters. That is it. A personalized education plan seeks to guide the child, seeks to support the child, and seeks to help the child maximize their potential. So there is no aptitude test in your personalized education plan. Mm-mm. There's no standardized test. Okay, there is just you helping the child reach their full potential with their pace and allowing them to gain mastery before they move to the next thing. That's what a personalized education plan is. So it allows the child gain mastery. So that way, whatever it is that the child is good at, the child is very good at. All right, this is what we are talking about. All right, very, very key. Okay, I tell you a story. All right, so a few, was that 2 terms ago? I mean, last year or somewhere early last year or towards the end of last year. All right, the kids came from school. My kids came back from school, and our son had a daughter, and my daughter was trying to asking if she could see. So he was like, no, I don't want you to see it. I don't want you to look at it. And then they were going back and forth, back and forth. I'm like, oh, Guinea, what's going on here? What's going on here? What's all the banter for? And she said she had stumbled on something he was writing, and she wanted to look at it. And then he says she couldn't look at it. And I'm like, what is it? Now, we don't just secrets around here. What is it? And then eventually he opens it and he says, it's a book that I'm writing. I'm like, really? And he handed it to me. I'm like, can I look at it? And he's like, yes. And I look at it. He was actually on chapter 2 or 3 of that book. Huh. He was on chapter 2 or 3 of that book. And that book was already as big, as in, it was already as big as half, like the books that I write. If he had to type his book already, the book was already half the size of the book that I write. And he was going 10 chapters. And of course, he was just on chapter 2. I tried to read like the beginning part of the book, and it was so, hey God, it was as in, I was trapped there. I couldn't drop it. I kept on reading. It was so beautifully written. It was so on point. He was, at this time, our son was 13 or 14. He was 14. He's 15 now. Okay, he had just turned 14. So yeah, or something like that. It was so, as in, it was so, it was good. That's what I want to say. It was good. Now, recently I was asking him, what's up with your book? And he's like, oh, I took a break. Right. I took a break and all of that. Now, I don't want to know. I don't know what page. At one point, he told me that he actually took off the whole of chapter 1 and he started writing again, and all of that. Now, what is he doing? Now, this is someone that I have said it many times. I bought my son's first book when I was pregnant. When I was 6 months pregnant was when I bought his first set of books. So I mean, young mother, just married. So I would read, I would come back from work and I would have a bath, chill, just read. My husband was a banker at the time. I'll come back from work. I was in development. I'll come back from work at about 5. So I'll have a whole 2 hour there, about 2 hours or three before he comes back from work. So what would I do with my time? I would read the Bible and read aloud with him, to him. He was fun. I enjoyed every bit of my pregnancy. Okay, I would read to him and then I'll take the storybook and I would read a bedtime story, and all of that. The book I'm talking about is a children's book, right? I'll read a bedtime story. So we read from the day he was born. I read to him every day till he was about 7. In fact, our son would not pick a fiction book to read till he was somewhere around 7 years old. The only time he will pick a fiction book is a book from school that they've sent for his reading log. So it was by force, and they were usually small books that he could just finish in a matter of hours. But me buying him a book for him to read, he didn't read books. It had to be me reading. He was so drawn to me reading aloud, and then he loved reading aloud. So it's either daddy or I who was reading to him. He would read encyclopedias. He would read books about animals. He would read his school books. He would read everything. But you see, I think he just reserved those storybooks, to just listen to us read to him. He enjoyed us reading to him so much that it became a thing. I remember his first book that he read was a Geronimo Stilton book. I can't forget. Something about Geronimo Stilton is a rat, right? So or a mice, right? A mouse, rather. All right. So he read Geronimo Stilton. I can't remember which edition, what topic or whatever it was, but he read a Geronimo Stilton book, and that book I brought from my classroom. I loaned it from a colleague, classroom fully at that time. So I loaned it from a colleague, and I said, let me give my son and see if he would like to read it. He kept that book for some time until I saw the advert for a reading challenge, a 30 days reading challenge, and I asked him if he would like to be a part of it. Okay, he had finished reading that Jerome Stilton book, and then he read it and said he enjoyed it. We talked about it. And then when I decided to, key in. He was reading, he read a book, I was ready to key in, and see if we can, continue. And then he said he was going to. I asked him if he wanted to join the challenge, 30 days summer holiday, and he's like, well, yeah, okay. And so I registered him. He read 30 books in 30 days. Like, it was like wake up in the morning, do chores, finish with chore, eat food. He was having fun. And that was it. After those 30 days of book reading, that's it. It never stopped. Now, remember, he was reading every other thing. So the seed, you will sow it. You will sow those seeds. We created a personalized plan. So there was a time for reading. There was a time for storytelling. There was a time we created a PEP and we rolled with that PEP. So from that reading, he's reading books and all of that. Now he's an amazing orator. He's great on stage. He has learned and built all the skills from these simple skill rather. And then today he is writing amazing stories, right? So your personalized education plan can actually unlock your child's superpower if you understand how powerful this tool is. Number 4, parents' involvement. Okay? A personalized education plan allows you as a parent to be involved in your child's learning. You will create that plan and then you will be a part of that that plan coming alive. It is not about setting goals. A lot of us are children setting goals already. We're in that place where we're teaching them to set goals. But it's not about the goals. What are the plans that you have to achieve those goals? It is the patterns that we create. It's the patterns that we create and we create to help our children achieve the visions and the goals that we have, that they have, or that we have created together. These are the patterns that we will use to also form our children's convictions. So yes, if you create PEPs, it will help you actually put everything that you need to teach your children in perspective. That way, you are able to create a culture in your home, you're able to create consistency, and you're able to help build the conviction of your children starting from when they are 0, 1, 2. See, convictions is not what you build when your children are 16. Convictions is not what you build when your children are 20. It's not what you build when your children are 14. Your convictions are the things that you pass down to your children from the cradle, right from when they are little babies. We go and we see all the nonsense happening online, the people that are having 20 children and married, all kinds of things. We see the ones that are fighting and slapping people all over the place. We see the ones that talk rubbish. We see all kinds of things online. We think it's about these people and because they live a certain kind of life. No, it's about the convictions that they have. It is a conviction that you have that allows you say that doing this particular thing is okay. It's a conviction that you have that allows you to premium on yourself that says can't be caught dead. All right, sorry about that network glitch. So it's the convictions that we pass down to our children that will make our children have a stance on certain things. So that whether you're there or you are not there, when decisions have to be made, when things have to be done, your children will make choices based on what it is that they are convinced about, based on what it is that you have agreed and you have convinced them about over the years. And convictions, by the way, is not what you force your children to have. Your convictions are the things that you have made your children come to believe, believe, internalize, and live by because they believe in it. That's what the conviction is. And it's not something that you do by putting them in a room or by giving them money or by forcing them. Conviction is done over time. The children will see you live it. They will see the result of it. They will see the pros and they will see it come alive. That's how you build convictions. So yes, create plans today that you would use. Within that plan, you would help build convictions for your children. That is what a personalized education plan will do for you. It is important. Lastly, a personalized education plan will help you track your progress. I said it doesn't matter how many coaches, how many mentors, how many teachers, what school your child goes to. You are the chief teacher. You are the first, the number one, and the most important teacher in your child's life. You are the one who taught the child before the child met the four walls of a classroom. I hope you know, by the way, that your child's education did not happen when they went to that school. Child's education started the day they were born. Whether you were educating intentionally or whether you had a plan for education or you don't, your child was already learning or is already learning from the things in your environment, the good, the bad, the ugly, or the child is absorbing. Remember, they have an absorbent mind in the foundation phase of their lives. So why don't you rather create a plan and ensure that your child is learning from a crafted, an intentional, a deliberate, a strategic plan that has become a roadmap or has become a pathway to where it is that you want your child to achieve. That is what we want to do with you. And you don't have to do it alone. All you need to do is register for our 10 days personalized education plan, homemade personalized education plan challenge. Just register and we can move together. Good thing is we are in the community, so you can ask your questions. During those 10 days, you have my attention or you have the attention of my team from morning to evening. You can ask your question, you can build it, you can do that, and then we just create this thing together during that period. It's not what anyone wants to miss. All right. So we are going to have to stop here for today. And of course, I know by now you understand the importance of a personalized education plan. I know by now you know that your child needs a personalized education plan. And I know by now that you will get ready and you will register for this. Okay, at the end of the class, check the comment section. You will see the detail. It's only $4.99, $4.999 for you to join this challenge for 10 days. 10 days with our full attention. All right, and then you will be building a homemade curriculum for your child for 10 years. Come on now. Even if you had to buy a book to help you do this, it'll cost you much more than that. So why don't you go ahead and register straight away? All right. So if your child is in a preschool or a daycare, it is important that you work together. So how can we create, or how can you synergize your PEP with your child's school? Because I'm not saying take your children from school and bring them to do a PEP. PEP in your home to educate your child, even if they go to school. And how can you create it? What they're doing in day school, what they're doing in their school, what they're doing with their coaches, what you're doing with them, your big vision for your children, put all of it together and then use all of it to create a plan. Very important, okay? Complementary activities. What is your child doing in school? Look for what your children are doing in school. Incorporate that into what you're doing with them so that what you're teaching your children can also reinforce what it is that they are doing in school. That's where your children become exceptional. Nobody will see their fronts. Everybody will be behind because the children will be doing so well because now you are reinforcing what they are learning in school. Flexibility and adaptation, of course, what they are learning in school that the teacher doesn't have all the time to put so much into. At home, you're able to now extend it. You're able to do more research, extend it, create a theme out of it, explore it more. And that's where your children have, beyond the textbook kind of experience of that thing. All right, then you are able to make it fun. Okay, you're able to focus on making it fun at home. So even whatever it is that they are learning, wherever in school or wherever, you're able to create extra fun around it. And then, of course, you are able to allow your child choose how they want to go about that learning. So you allow the child own their learning. All right, what they're doing in school that the teacher is rigid about, when the child comes home, you're able to allow the child choose how you play or how you go about it. I remember when our daughter was a toddler, I would say to her after learning for some time, you want to take a break so we can actually learn. We never learn for beyond 30 minutes, right? So we can learn for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And then I say to her, can we take it? Do you want to take a break? And she's like, yes, what do you want to do? Let's blow bubbles. We go get our bubbles and then we blow. Flexible learning, fun learning. You prioritize the child's choice. That is how learning is enjoyed. That is how learning is authentic. That's how you get children to learn willingly. Remember, dear parents, every child is unique and has their own special superpower. By creating a personalized education plan, you can empower your children, whether they are toddlers or they are young children, to reach their full potential. And of course, this will allow your child shine brightly. So yes, don't be afraid to experiment, be flexible, and most importantly, have fun on this exciting journey. All right, but more than anything, create a plan so that you are working with a plan in mind and you're not leaving anything out. It is very important. Okay, so I am very, very happy to welcome you on board. All right, so use the link in the comment section to join the wait list where all the information about this challenge will be shared and you can be a part of this amazing challenge. Thank you very much for joining me today. I trust that you got value. Share with us what it is that you are taking away from this session. Thank you again and have a blessed rest of the day. Bye.